Seeing the time being 6:08, I'd like to call this Osterville Association meeting to order. First, Secretary's report. Anyone have any questions? Secretary's report. Get a motion to approve. A motion.
I move it be accepted.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Good. Secretary's report approved. Treasurer's report, I don't see Al. I know we'll go into OBPA report. Cindy Cotton.
Okay, as we move into the fall season, I'm pleased to share a few important updates on behalf of the Osterville Business and Professional Association. Fall Festival is October 4th. Our annual Fall Festival will take place Saturday, October 4th. We're anticipating a wonderful day in the village filled with food trucks, children's activities, music, and seasonal fun for all ages. To ensure the festival is both festive and family friendly, the OBPA is requesting $800 from the Osterville Village Association to support live music and children's programming. Okay, keep going. OBPA Fall Breakfast Meeting is September 9th, 2025. Our fall breakfast meeting will be held Tuesday, September 9th at the Wano Club. We hope to see you all there. Our guest speaker will be Chief Hill, who will provide an update from COM as they prepare to celebrate a significant anniversary next year. Christmas stroll, December 12th. Planning is underway for the Christmas stroll. This cherished event brings the entire community together to celebrate the holiday season, and we look forward to another joyful evening in the village. Website and communications. We're in the process of redesigning and merging the OVA and OBPA websites for a single comprehensive site that will serve as a central hub. We anticipate the launch later this fall. In addition, we are building for the OBPA a list for constant contact newsletter and keeping our membership informed and engaged year round. Acknowledgement. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Gail again for her steadfast guidance and ongoing support during this time of transition. Her dedication continues to be invaluable to the success of our association and the vitality of the village. So thank you. And thank you all for your support as we move into this exciting season. Thank you.
Can I move the $800 donation?
Yes, can I get a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Great job, Cindy. Thank you very much. And again, Gail, thank you for helping Cindy, and we're in good shape. So
Enjoy it.
really appreciate it. Okay, John, Council.
Couple quick things before we go on, as we're making a report. We do have Director Heather Hunt on the phone. As far as okay, so just so that when the village should take it this year. And I want to wish Cindy good luck. She just had her hip done, so she's in rehab, so good for you. Hope things are really bad for you. The only thing I have for town councilors is that as far as the base school property playground, we did all the finances, and I get a little frustrated over the last month or so about how slow it was coming, and been slow for years. But I did make some calls, and I talked to town engineer and that kind of thing. So the town architect said that for all we wanted to finish up, we were still around close to $400,000 short. Okay, and I could pick up the phone and we called Lindsay Council, CPC, and the very last meeting they had, they brought it up and they voted unanimously to give us those funds. So we're all set with funding. That includes the.
Sorry.
We're all set with funding. I also asked them if we can move it up, because they were saying, well, we're gonna start maybe in the spring and then we'll stop in the summer. So from what my schedule has it so far, it says they're gonna start working on it in January. This kind of thing.
Yeah,
So, and then the fall finish it up. Thank you. That was a big thing, and so that includes now the bathrooms. And they're talking, the town is talking about, especially Lindsay's, that it would be appropriate, or that's not the word for it, but be wise to look at a modular concept for the bathrooms. Because I think they're going to try to do this in all playgrounds coming up. And so that would be part of it.
What's that, John? Like a trailer that goes seasonal? Like,
I don't know if it was a trailer, but it'd be a modular design.
Oh,
so they can
modular.
Plop it down
yeah, except for-
and do that. And that also includes between wherever the old tennis courts work. That includes the combination field, street hockey and basketball court. So we've got almost everything we asked for, we've got the funding for it, and I'm pushing very hard to get started as soon as possible. So that's good. So that's really all I have.
Right.
Yeah. If there's any questions, please ask.
We should, thank you very much for that, but it would be a miracle if it happens, that we should have a nice ground cutting, breaking ceremony when it happens.
That would be great.
Yeah.
You should be right in front.
No, you and everybody else is connected in that.
I give
You and your grown up.
You're right. Hopefully not my grandkids yet. Grandchildren, few more years, get them through college.
You were right though, Mark, when you said that.
Holy,
How many years
15
ago?
years ago.
15 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's no reason anybody should wait till March. I'm really keeping them push. What you say? I'm sorry.
I said my grandkids are too big for it already.
Yeah.
John, thank you very much. I know like you've been persistent, you've been like, over there talking to Held and whoever you had to talk to and UPW and so forth.
Can I ask a question? Is there gonna be a track at all for walkers, for the older people like us?
Not that I know. of. That was
That's too bad.
proposed a number of years ago, and the cost of doing it was prohibitive of doing the whole thing around the thing. So we had other priorities that we wanted to get for. This will be a terrific thing. I don't know if you've seen it yet,
Yeah,
but the concepts are just fantastic. The drawings are beautiful, colors are great, and just all kinds of stuff for every kind of kid to do, whatever age. So we're looking forward to that being done once and for all. So stay tuned.
The Osterville finally get something back from.
Yeah.
Great job, Sean. Excellent. Okay, moving on to old business. Anything that you want to discuss? Bill, anyone?
I've been, we both of the committee have been, working on that. I did something on the Robert Smith, the change in the perspective of that. And, we need to have a committee meeting and promise that we have one in October, so we can move to that and move forward. And basically, the concept is it'll be like, more like a needy fund where people associated with the village one way or another need a hand up in order to help them out. And it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to do that. I've mentioned it a good bit about, and nothing really comes back. I have one very interesting idea, which I've written up. So I encourage everyone to keep their thoughts and minds when you're in the village. And if you know the individuals, Cindy, you could really be excellent at this because you're so much in touch with the village. People that someone has a particular challenge and could use a hand up. And right now, my little mind is only thinking we already have something like 17,000 minus, although we might have picked up some more. So we might be up around 20. And so my concept right now is think of things in the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, maybe 5,000, whatever it is, range for the first one to get started on. And so ideally, Bruce and I will have with a committee, having met, we'll be finally prepared in order to move this concept forward. So anyone that has ideas, we'd love to hear them, because as you see, we're trying to mold something new that is very thoughtful, oriented to aid people. And so, I'll add one other thing. Because of the COVID situation, and I had an assignment in the Craigville Beach Club. I started really watching Centerville. And I actually attended the Zoom meetings, which was very fascinating to learn from. Because they're very different. They have a different basic, and they have stores that are on 28, like Lambert's and other stores like that, which is slightly different than our mix. And they are very, they have one of them, they still send me emails of their agendas, so I pay attention to them. and 2 or 3 months ago, on their agenda, they had 3 actions for the needy fund. Fourth mention, they thanked the people for aiding in the program to develop money for their needy fund base. And then they, for discussion, they had needy fund for elderly individual, needy fund, discussion for a junior high school person, and the third one. So they are really into it. Now, admittedly, their base is different than our base, but we have enough overlap of types that there should be a calling for it in our community as well. I have one idea already, which I've written up, and however, when the committee looks at it, they may ideally have 2 or more. And one of my thoughts is, in the discussion group at the Methodist Church of senior men, that we just get together for friendship and so forth. And Pastor John Wesley Taylor is a wonderful outgoing person, and we're looking for resources like that, and possibly the ministers of the Baptist Church, maybe not on the committee, but be source people for us to. And I think Cindy could really be excellent in that way, being in the library all the time and having input with the public. She might sense some people with needs as well. So we could use your help.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about before at the meeting, in this meeting, was that we want to incorporate a better use of the membership solicitation letters to, provide more funding for the Smith Fund. Like, I'm guilty of signing up online myself, and I noticed when I sign up for the OBA membership online for my wife and I, there's no mechanism to contribute to the Smith Fund. And, so we're missing all that potential there. So in addition to what Bill mentioned, we really want to establish the difference between the different funds. And we have a list of people who want to be on the committee. But the membership letter went out in June. So obviously there was no rush to do it for this year. So we're going to plan on meeting in the next 60 days a couple of times and try to iron out something that we can bring back to the committee. To the OBA board to review. So we will get together in more time. Any other questions?
From what I understand, the PayPal also doesn't let for individual membership, it's just $35. So there's no 20 there either. So I don't know, if somebody have to get to know PayPal and how to arrange the site. I don't know if they have the opportunity to do so in different categories or not. So that's one thing I've got a number of, not a number, just 3 or 4.
Well, I think I quite hear you.
I'm saying on the PayPal, when you want to pay there, they only have the $35 membership. They don't have the $20 one we have now. Now, a couple of people have said, why don't you have that, and then no other categories. Now, I don't know if PayPal will allow us to do different categories or not, but if somebody knows that ins and outs of that, maybe we can rearrange it so we can have all those.
I'd like it to be established that and I've had trouble with this problem with other organizations too, that the sign up for the annual membership not go out before the Robert Smith approves it as well as others. Because otherwise it's almost impossible the way we're set up to get the treasurer to not send it out before we get the approval of it. And if this happens, right, we totally lose any opportunity to pick up money. As it is, when we were really kind of purring along there for some 20 years, we used to give just about 6,000 a year, maybe 5,000, maybe 7,000. And that helped in the library and Kelly Park and the Historic Society nicely would request funds. And what we did is we tried to always split about 2, 2, and 2. And we learned quickly that instead of looking for a $2,000 project, we asked them to just say, "Here, give us a project that would go to it. If it was a $20,000 project, then we give them 2,000, and we should give them a boost." Admittedly, very small amount of money, but especially Armstrong Kelly Park, and they had the grumpy old men or whatever they call it, so they really appreciated $2,000. It was a big deal to them. So, over the years, we probably, I'm gonna think we probably gave out only 80 or 90,000 dollars over 15 years, which is kind of small game, certainly, but it is a game and a positive thought, so.
Okay, so we send out our, membership letter in early June, is that right? And normally that goes out in early June, but don't we do another follow-up letter like later in the year?
Yeah, in fact, Joanne mentioned this to me the other day on the taxi. We're gonna do another letter in November. Right around.
All right, so
Did we
then
do, I'm sorry,
let's make sure that we, have everything buttoned up before that letter goes out.
how many mailings did we do this year? Did we just do the first one and
Just
then
one.
We sent, no, we gotta send a second letter already.
the second letter went
Yeah.
out?
I received the second
Yeah, the
letter.
second letter went out, and then we're gonna do it.
Okay, so we're talking about third, so it's always the last week in June, because most people don't show up here till July.
Right.
Last week in June and then mid-October to make sure, or early October to make sure we get them before they leave. And then we, at times, in the past, have done one around Thanksgiving, because it's a giving time and that kind of stuff. So I think Nancy and I talked about that today.
Okay.
I think we should send it out a week before, have it in the mailbox a week before Thanksgiving, because everybody else does the same thing. And,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and that's it, basically.
I think you have to keep in mind that you're competing for donation dollars. So we give the needy fund every year. My wife gives multiple times to the Historical Society. And they have 501c3s. So you're gonna get small contributors, but someone's gonna write a big check if you're not gonna get a 501c3 deduction.
Right, well, part of what we talked about, Rick, was that we want to better promote exactly what the Robert Smith Fund is, because nobody really knows.
Yeah,
And, you know, we know why we have it, because Bob, but, you know, Cindy, we're putting together a new website, and we have a committee for that. And we can address the payment issues on the new website, because we're dealing with a professional.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if someone, you might be able to do a way that on the website, it says, "I'd like to give to the Historical Society." They know that the donation is coming through OVA there. I mean, if it can be done. And at the same time, the person gets credit for whatever, $100 that they're donating or something, but, yeah, like on the, I think the educational thing is a great thing. Oyster Harvest gave over $500,000 in scholarships to kids who work there last year.
Yeah.
I think it was over 400,000 a year before. So, but it's a 501c3. So people write big checks to help these kids.
Well, our idea would be to incorporate it as part of, you know, joining or renewing the OVA. To also include a line for the Robert Smith Fund.
Oh, I know, I usually add that on there,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is that, you know, $50 for something, okay, you know, but no $1,000.
Yeah, well, a lot of our local groups have their own fundraising efforts, so.
I know, I mean, I've done fundraising
Fixing
for
this
40 years, and what, you're competing. There you go.
Well, we are.
I mean, you know, every time you approach someone for something, that the person you're approaching to give, has got an option, where I'm gonna get so much money this year, where do I wanna give it? So,
Right.
I think you've gotta have an appeal, and like you're trying to identify.
Right.
That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Ken Roberts, that's a fan acting,
Yeah.
make it a 501c3, right?
Well, I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, how long have we been on the board, right? But we need to establish for ourselves, okay, which fund, you know, covers what expenses? Because it seems like,
It's mixed.
it gets mixed a lot, and it really shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
And, we can do a better job with that, that's all we're trying to do. So we'll get together in the next few weeks and try to hammer that out. Obviously, we have to involve Al too, because he's the treasurer. And so he's offered to sit in on that, and then we'll figure it out and bring something back, for everybody to look at. But we basically have already outlined the whole thing. We just need to make sure we do it before, maybe not before the next membership letter goes up, but before the November one. And we have a better idea of how to go about it.
One last question on that, just, forget to ask it. The Osterville Village charity that accepts the donations for the Christmas time or the holiday time, it goes to the Salvation Army and I forget what the other. Split
The
it.
needy fund, right?
Needy fund.
Needy fund,
Is that affiliated with the OVA?
no, I don't think so.
Osterville Village
The
charity?
one that Bruce Williams does, Gail,
It's a combination.
is that technically an OVA fundraiser?
It's half
That's,
and half.
no, it's OVA, OBPA.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's,
something we'll have to discuss this year because Bruce Williams is no longer doing it. And
I
so,
don't think it really is.
There's another thing that could go on the website too, in addition to the mailing,
well, that is a fund that is very time intensive. And when he sends the letters out on Thanksgiving usually. And then we present the gifts to the people before Christmas stroll.
Yeah.
So it's like a 2-week period that I've been doing it every year, and it's very time intensive to collect over 100 checks, get them deposited, get them cash so that we can present the money to the people. And I'm looking for somebody else to do it this year because it's at a time when I'm busy decorating the buildings, writing my Christmas cards, and it's just gotten more than I can handle. So I don't know if you want to continue doing the Christmas charities or not. I mean, you've got to get a new person to send out the letters. Because Bruce has moved away. He's not living here anymore.
Yeah.
And he told me, that last year was his last year.
Well, one thing we could do is incorporate an online payment aspect, through the website to make it easier to process all the checks.
I'm
So
telling you
how
right
many-
now, and doing it online is very difficult because the checks come in and they have to be cleared. I mean, we've had a few checks bounce, and if we present gifts to Salvation Army and then the check bounce, then we're stuck with the money.
Right.
And so they all have to clear the bank before the bank will write out a check to the organization.
Right, but
it's
any donations
just-
made online wouldn't be by check anyway. So it would, we wouldn't have to worry about clearing.
Well, that's something you folks have to decide between you and OBPA, whether you. My thought was maybe this is a good year to, we've done it for 30 years.
Yeah.
Do that at the start.
And it has been a lot of work. And I'm sure the organizations appreciate it, but for the amount of money we give them, it's something to be decided whether we want to do it again this year.
How many letters is that?
700.
700.
It goes to every member of OBPA and every member of OBA. And
So
so
we do
between
that
the two
like-
organizations.
It's all $35, right? $35 donations?
Christmas?
What was it?
Christmas?
Open ended.
Is it open ended? I thought they asked for a specific amount.
They asked for 25. We started it on the 25th anniversary of our Christmas stroll. And it was started with the idea that could you donate 25 to these two funds?
Right.
Or any amount. And some people give $200, $300. I mean, it isn't always just 25. But we get about over 100 checks in. And it does take time to put,
Generally, the sum approximately,
but
approximately is the sum.
How much?
Last year, we gave more than we've ever given. We gave them each 4,000,
Wow.
That's great.
but that was, we had
Good.
an unusual donation last year. I think we had a couple of $500 donations and I think we had $1,000, but that's very unusual. Usually we end up giving them around maybe 2,500 each.
What do you think these days? Are people comfortable in general making donations online or?
I think so, I think electronically, I think people are kind of moving away from checks.
I mean,
A
like
lot of
every,
kids
if you do
and
like
younger
the
people-
Fan Mass Challenge, everything's online.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
that
very easy to do.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe it's time to move in that direction.
Work to begin with. But I'm almost thinking that.
You can still do the,
Go away.
still do the mailing, but process the payments online. I don't know, maybe we're on.
I mean, You generate money for Christmas time for that portion of the charity, and then it is the Robert Smith one,
Yeah.
that one purpose, but only three all year.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
I'm
bring
not
up,
even sure that's correct that way,
we're gonna have
but
to
it's
do
irrelevant, because people think it isn't. Oh,
Yeah, it's also Christmas charity, is that what it's called?
yeah.
yeah.
It's tough on the change.
It costs about $1,000 to send out the request. It's roughly a dollar an envelope, so there's $700 in postage. We have to have the letters printed, we have to have the return envelopes printed. And so the first $1,000 that comes in goes right back into the fund. So it's, and if you're gonna do it online, you're gonna have to get somebody else to handle it.
Point taken. It's the way it works out, though, like, even email instead of mailing, a lot of people just take so many of those at holiday time and just don't track.
Yeah.
It's, you know, or they just put, you know, in secondary file.
definitely to take under consideration, Gail, so thank you.
I mean, it's really an OBA project
Yeah.
but OBPA ended up doing the work.
Yeah, okay, so I can ask,
I thought Bruce did it.
And
I thought Bruce did.
he sends out the letter. That's just the
That's it.
first,
So he doesn't take
first
care of
thing.
it.
No, that it all comes back.
Okay.
Yeah.
The OBPA PO box, so it
Okay.
all right,
all comes that way, so.
good to know, Gail. Thank you, Bill, thank you, Bruce. Good conversation. Excuse me, on the new business. Just a question, when Al's not here, do we hold off on this until the next meeting, Sean, or would you? do
I
that?
say, the elections go ahead, whether one way or the other. He's,
I think we elect him anyway.
yeah.
Okay, no, I
and,
just,
It's his fault for not being here.
I know it happens. And I'm not sure too, John, the procedure on this, do we just open this up for?
We start with the president, you ask for nominations for president for this year.
I nominate Peter Henson.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We get a nomination for vice president.
Bruce Cole.
Second. All those in favor? Congratulations, Bruce.
No.
Treasurer. Get a motion for Al.
Second.
All those in favor? Secretary, we're gonna, Nancy Hanson has been doing the secretary reports. And it will continue through this year. And not sure if where we go after that, but it's something that down the line, we will have to have somebody do the secretarial. But not right away, because she's on board through this year and probably into next year, it's just something down the line that.
Should we be voting on her as secretary officially?
Not really, no, she's just a temporary, yeah.
She didn't want us to do that.
Yeah. So, but anyways, appreciate that.
I just want to make one point. Now that AI is out there, it does a fairly good job of translating all this off of the video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right into a report, I mean, a text.
Yeah.
So, it may be a lot easier going forward. Just that you have somebody responsible for doing
Right, and Cindy's been very good about the AI,
it. Yeah.
that. Because like anything else, it's hard to get used to initially, so it's like,
Does it take much correction?
You have
A little bit
to.
here and there, so.
yeah, I mean, but the minutes, I mean, it's not a report, it's not like, you know, it's more of, again, a summary of the meeting, so it's. Nancy tends to do more than, she's very, you know, very complete, which is great, but it does take a long time to do it full manual.
Detail.
Yeah, yeah, so the AI is definitely, everything's on AI.
I just listened to a podcast the other day, that AI has figured out how to reverse age.
That's
Really?
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
Tell you what you did wrong.
And they think it's in a time frame of 7 to 12 years, and they called it a midpoint of 10 years. It's gotta go through human trials and all that kind of stuff, but
Wow.
using a protein in our body, and AI has figured out that there's DNA in all of our proteins. And it figures this thing out, and it can take the protein back, and they put it back in you, and it rebuilds all your cells.
Sounds like a pipe dream.
Sorry.
Sounds like a pipe dream to me, but
Oh,
Could you report on that the next meeting?
actually, I'll send it to you guys, because I got the transcript from the podcast,
Yeah, amazing.
and I'm sending it to my discussion group. And, we meet every Thursday to solve all of those problems,
Wow, that's great.
How's that going?
AI should have did that.
It seems to have more problems every day, don't we?
The podcast is called All In, and All In is the #1 podcast in the world. And it's about 4 guys who are relatively young, with backgrounds like Google, Facebook. One of them is the AI and crypto czar in the present administration. And a friend of mine put me onto this thing about a year ago, this podcast, and so I listen, it comes out every week.
Just throw all in the search engine and it comes up.
All in.
Pretty amazing.
When I send my stuff for our Thursday meeting, there'll be a link in there.
But pretty soon I'll be robots up here, is that what you're saying? We'll take attendance. So, all right.
Thank you. Just a quick update, membership is up to 450 plus. We had some more come in today that Nancy was counting, which is good. My goal, the peak in 2023 was 558. Thank you, John. That was amazing. Last year was 483. So trying to goal would be to get to 500 if I can do that, or if we can do that. So, but to have the 450 is a plus.
There might be something really good for the new website to see if we can drive membership through that as
Absolutely.
one of the goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Any other new business? Is Heather on the line, John, or she is? Okay. Heather, did you have any questions for tonight?
She's over here.
Hi, thank you. Yes, no, I don't. I appreciated the chance to dial in tonight. I'm on my way to Boston. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
We get an update on wind turbines in general, anything to refresh our memories that get fairly stale because the memory does, because everything has been so pushed back. Can you kind of bring us up to date again, a 3-minute review or an 8-minute review?
There's not really a lot of change from last month when, at the annual meeting when Suzanne presented. There was a rumor going around that Ken Kimmel, the VP for development of Avangrid, had left Avangrid. So I sent him an email yesterday or Sunday saying, "Dear Ken, we hear there are rumors going around that you've left Avangrid. Where are you going next?" And he wrote back, he said, "As Mark Twain said, the rumors of my demise are unfounded. I remain at Avangrid." But there's just a lot going on at the federal government level. You heard that the Department of Interior rescinded the permit for the Revolution Wind project, which is off Rhode Island and which is about three-fourths completed. So the federal government, Department of Interior or BOEM, I guess it was, ordered the company to stop work. And that's headed to the courts.
That's a real.
And whenever, and there've been some other slowdowns, and every time there's a slowdown, Suzanne and Stacy each say, well, what about Vineyard Wind? What about Vineyard Wind? So, but for now, that's proceeding.
That's the old Park City.
So on Park City, the thinking is that the reason that not Revolution Wind, but one of the other projects, the permits have been granted by the Department of Interior and BOEM, that the process for approving those permits was faulty. So the theory is that the same process was used to approve Park City Wind. So there are a lot of letters going out. Suzanne wrote a letter to Doug Burgum today at the Department of Interior saying, you know, we would appreciate your focusing on Vineyard Wind and on Park City Wind. But for now, we have to assume that those projects are going ahead. But if I were you, if I were betting in, I would stay tuned.
No,
You'd stay tuned, is that,
Pardon?
you would stay tuned?
Yeah, I would stay tuned. Do not be
Do
complacent.
each of these projects have a bond requirement for removal?
No. So one of the things that the Department of Interior under Biden did was waive that requirement. So,
you often read like the Park City one, which is Centerville. I see things about every 2 or 3 weeks that things are moving forward. And that's the case.
well, there has been no halt promulgated by the federal government. So yeah, one has to assume it's moving forward. But as I said, I would stay tuned.
How many windmills do they have up
For Vineyard Wind,
Vineyard Wind?
I think about 40.
Really?
But how many are turning any day? It's between 5 and 20.
And what is it, about 58 or is it a lot?
65 altogether is the target number. Yeah. So it's just gonna be a long haul, and we should all, whether it's Vineyard Wind or Park City Wind or the Dowsers project, we should not be complacent. But as I said, I would stay tuned
Are
because,
people still meeting every other Tuesday?
yeah, in fact, yes, we are meeting at 11 o'clock downstairs, in the makerspace room. at
And that's the
11 o'clock.
Dowsers.
Every other Wednesday, there's a meeting tomorrow if you want to join. We're having a circle in the sand at Dowsers Beach next Monday at 4:30 p.m. So if you want to come down to the beach, Suzanne is going to give a presentation. People bring beach chairs and we'll sit there, that red umbrella, and talk about, get an update. So that's something else that's coming out.
What time was that, Chief?
4:30 next Monday. Yeah. Monday, the 8th of September.
Cindy, there was a story, I think it was in Sunday's paper, Ken Kimmel was on the hook being talked about negotiating that with Nantucket for the damage and what happens to future damage.
Right.
It got me thinking, well, there's everyone along the seashore and the vineyard, everybody should be going after them for the same kind of
Yeah.
agreements,
Yeah,
you know, like.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it seemed like it was just all they talk about in Nantucket. I don't hear anybody else preemptively striking. Which would be better than striking after the stuff washes up. The beach.
Yeah.
That stuff is nasty.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Thank you, Hector. Just to follow up with what Hector is saying, the Con Water Department, Senator Lawson, Lassenville, we've got a meeting in October at the fire station in Centerville, coming up. And supposedly, Evan Grid is gonna be there to present company that is gonna be doing the insulated pipes, to give a presentation in terms of how the heat is permeated through the soil. Last time we saw them, I want to say it's November of last year. I heard the other day that they might not be at the October meeting. I will get a word out. We have a COM meeting next, it's supposed to be tomorrow, it's gonna be next week. I'll have more information in terms of they're gonna be at the October meeting. That being said, we're gonna put out a broadcast to get people obviously to come to the meeting. We had a huge turnout when Avangrid was coming before. And it makes a big difference, like it's, people get up in the public comment and just fire at them in terms of the inconsistencies and all the things we're talking about here, to get answers out of it. So we would encourage everyone to show up and voice their opinion on
What
it.
is the date of the October meeting, if you can remember?
I don't have that in front of me.
All right.
It should be the first
Wednesday.
First Wednesday.
There's no contract, right?
No, there's not. And that's a good point, Bob. I want to reiterate that. They're pressing us, the Water Commissioners, to look at a contract, to quote, sign a contract that basically would allow them through Water to move the pipes around, to put in new piping in conjunction with putting in these conduits. My personal opinion is I'm not gonna sign anything that they present. The other commissioners, not to speak for them, but kind of feeling the same way, like we were elected to protect the water, the drinking water of the Center Osterville, Masters Mills water district. And everything they're doing there's too many variables, there's too many questions. And I don't care if they have insulated pipes, I'm still not. It doesn't solve the substation problem, it doesn't solve all these unknowns that they don't have answers for. So we're adamant about not signing any contract. Also talked with our town attorney, the common attorney, Doug Murphy. And he said to me 2 weeks ago, you don't have to sign anything, no matter what they present. You are not obligated to sign any contract. So the question is, I sent a letter to Hector today, that the town Avangrid is laying out how the water pipes are gonna get changed in the Sentinel project without having a contract from Comm. So I find that kind of interesting. So Hector said, stay tuned.
The first Wednesday is the first. October?
Yes, it is. Okay, thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
A question about the age of the water pipes. I heard last year something that some of our water pipes are pretty old.
They are, and some are fairly new. So their argument before was that we're gonna replace all the pipes with new pipes. It's like, okay, again, that's great, except some of the pipes don't need to be replaced. And the only reason to replace them is because of the heat that these conduits give off. They can't use regular water pipes because they'll heat up the water. So they have to put insulated pipes, anything within 10 feet of these conduits. And then going into the house, those have to have insulated pipes. So it's they're presenting what they need to do their project. Is it what we need? No, I guess there's water pipes that don't have to be.
Plus, they probably wouldn't replace every water pipe, just where they want their trenches, right?
Correct, but the way that they're structured, you have to go back, there's certain areas where you add the new ones to the old ones. So Greg Barker is doing get to that. So it's just, and again, I don't think they realize that the town doesn't know the pipes. So we have an advantage of this, that little roadblock that they ran into. But not my fear, but no one seems to be able to answer if we don't sign that contract, can they go to the state, or can somebody override the water commissioners and do that? We don't know that. Yeah. So
Good to town.
town wouldn't, I don't think has the authority, but it's never been done before, so it's one of those. Chuck, any comment on that? As an attorney?
On the contract?
Well, just
I
on,
don't have a contract.
yeah,
Could the town supersede the CON, water department?
I don't think so,
no,
no, because the COMM is an independent entity
that's correct.
that has, by statute, has the authority, to inspect the sole authority to regulate and control the water distribution.
That's correct.
Center of Osterville, Marston's Mills. I don't see how the town can supersede the fire district, the water district.
Could the state, that,
Could the Energy Facility Study Board override Tom's authority? The EFSB, which approved the project.
No, I don't see how they can do that.
No.
Now, one fascinating thing about that is that studying history, the community's #1 need to have government was firefighting. So the firefighting entity came first. And right parallel with it, the firemen needed water. So the water district wrote back with the fire district before everything else. So that would support your thinking that, that no one can override that. Most likely, but.
Yeah, the
You
true. Well, what was this, originally when this was all proposed, they were saying, oh, and we're gonna replace your water pipes that are really old that will save you millions of dollars. But really, it's self-serving.
That's
We're
right.
gonna stop where we need it, we're gonna stop where we need it.
That's
Now
absolutely
you're gonna have a patchwork of old pipe and new pipe.
correct.
There's not a new water system, because it was generally proposed at the beginning, which sounded good.
Right, correct.
Before the heat issue and the other issue.
Yeah, that's. Any other public comment? Get a motion to adjourn? Second, meeting adjourned. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.